Hey guys, we are back with another episode of Milf Manor. This week it's episode 4. If you guys did not see last week's, you guys should go watch my recap. I'll put a video right here or a link down below. But last episode was so good. And also this episode does start off where it left off last week. But yeah, last week's, that one had some entertaining moments in it. But we're just gonna jump right into where it left off. Kelly and the women decide to confront Jamie about her having a boyfriend, and they're going at it. And finally, Jamie's just fed up with it. She stands up and she lets them know, hey, if you just came to me and asked me politely if I had a boyfriend, I would tell you guys. Which, I mean, would you have though? I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is just really weird. But Jamie does admit she has a boyfriend at home and she lets everyone know. Some of them are pretty disappointed in her.
I did not come here trying to mislead.
I just want to let you know I'm not bi.
I was like, okay.
But her excuse is that when she decided to sign up for this show and she was fully committed, she ended up falling in love with her boyfriend. She just let her boyfriend know that she wanted to come here to see if they were right for each other, because if she did find somebody here, then maybe she can make other connections. And I guess he was cool with it, so he knew. But yeah, that was her reasoning. But at the end, she ended up deciding to go home after Kelly kept telling her she needed to go. She did not belong here. She had to go. She had to get out. Kelly was on her ass the whole night.
You need to leave the villa. I'm sorry if I'm like a little too direct, but it's so up.
It is.
I would never do that. You need to leave.
Because
you need to go.
she's
Bye.
gonna go.
Kelly the whole night was just getting on to Jamie, telling her she had to go, she had to get out, even to the point where Anthony was kind of looking at her in a different light. He didn't outright say bully, but he did feel like she was being a little too hard on Jamie. So it goes into the next morning and Kelly is making smoothies for everybody, and she says she found her first connection, her first love.
The blender.
I think Kelly Mack is so cute. They really haven't shown too much of her. It's really been obviously focused on more of the drama, but she seems so sweet. And so does Sam and Darren. Sam thinks that Kelly Mack would be a good woman for him.
I think him and Kelly Mack would actually work really well together.
Her demeanor is extremely open, warm, welcoming. Without sounding shallow, she's beautiful.
I think they would be really cute for each other, and it seems like Kelly Mack doesn't cause a lot of drama, so she would probably be good for Darren, especially knowing that Darren, whole moth to the flame and the drama thing. Now, this experience hasn't only been connecting these moms and these men finding love interests, but Joey and Anthony seem to be having a really nice experience with each other. They're bonding. They already seem to have a really genuine connection. They tell each other that they're each other's best friends and that they love each other. And honestly, I think I'm in love with Anthony. He is so sweet. He has said a couple of goofball things, but I think he's just so cute. He just seems like really warm-hearted. Now, as they have told us, Stacy and Miles don't have the best relationship. Miles hasn't spoken to his father since he was 19, and he's 24 now, so it's been about 5 years, which is a really long time. For them to build a connection in this experience is kind of weird, but somehow it is bringing them together. Maybe not this experience so much, but the fact that they're living under the same roof again, they're having to communicate. Stacy decides it's time to step up and have a conversation with Miles.
You'd think that you could just forget about the past and move on, but until you address it, it's gonna keep lingering back.
And they have a heart-to-heart, and Stacy lets him know that obviously he loves him, he's his son. And he also asks Miles if Miles has anything to say to him. Miles communicates to him that there's just been no communication, and of course this makes Miles very emotional. Stacy lets him know that he made decisions in the past that weren't right, and that's how his father was, that whatever his dad did, it didn't matter. You kind of just had to respect him, and it's the whole respect your elders thing in the past. That's how his dad really was, and he kind of followed in his footsteps, but then he realized as he got older that's not really how you should handle things. And again, he just lets him know that he wish he had made better choices and that he loves them, and it's a very emotional moment. I I connect with this truly. I personally don't have a relationship with my father, so to see a father wanting to step up and be there for his son is actually beautiful. I'm sure a lot of people could relate to not having their father or even their mother in their life, so just having that solid parent is pretty cool, and I'm glad that they're mending their relationship. Now, on a lighter note, we are on to the next challenge. It is the MILF Mud Pit. And basically the whole challenge is it's this little kiddie pool filled up with mud, and there's flags on each side. And on the flags are people's secrets. So they play tug of war, and whoever grabs their flag doesn't have to share their secret. And I guess they wrote their secret before the show. Last year, they didn't do it that way. They just wrote their secret right there and then, and everybody had to share their secret. And oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys watched last year, but there was a mom named So Young. Her secret was, and her son was Jimmy, by the way, her secret was that she slept with her son's best friend. I don't even know why you would put that. Like, how crazy of you to do that in the first place, but then to put it down on the paper. Like, you didn't have any other secrets you could have told. Like, you should have taken that with you to the grave, my friend. That should have never left your lips. But yeah, so the secrets from last year were pretty good. They're pretty juicy. Obviously, that one was the craziest one. But this year, I'm not even gonna lie, they weren't that great. They were pretty trivial things. So I'm just gonna go through this part really quickly, tell you who lost, what their secret was. So the first duo we have is Crystal and Lynette. Crystal ends up losing. Crystal's secret was that she told a guy that her friend got mugged so she could use his car to go see another guy, which is wild as hell to me. I wanna know how old she was when she did this. That one was probably the craziest secret. And then we have Christina versus Kelly. Christina wins. And Kelly's secret is that she had schmecks with somebody in the branches of a tree like a monkey. I don't know how that works. Yeah. And then we have Barbie versus Kelly. And this is actually where we learn that Kelly actually has a little thing for Darren. She, in her talking head, says that if she wins this, she wants to take Darren out on a date. But unfortunately, Kelly Mack loses. And her secret was that she was a part of the Mile High Club. Now we move on to the dads. And you know, Darren is handicapped right now. He's on crutches. So obviously he's not going to be doing this challenge. So he gets to decide who plays for him. And he has to pick a dad. And he decides to pick Stacy. So it's his son Sam versus Stacy, and let me tell you, Sam drug Stacy through that pool, and Stacy said he threw the game, which I don't really believe, because later on he gets drugged by his son. But Sam's secret was that he still has fantasies about a nun from his childhood. And then next we have Stacy and Miles. And like I said earlier, Miles dragged Stacy. So Stacy got drugged by 2 people. And Stacy's secret was that back in his fraternity days, they had a bet to see who could sleep with the most women in one day. And he slept with 5, which is just gross. Like, how do you have the time? Like, aren't you going to school? Like, anyway. And then next up we have Ashley and Jacob, which actually piqued my interest a little bit, not because they're both hot, but they're both built as hell. Like, Ashley is still a physical ed teacher. He was a pro rugby player, and Jacob is very fit himself, it looks like. So I was interested to see who was gonna win, and Ashley won this one. Jacob's secret was that anytime he does it, he has a nosebleed. Maybe he should get that checked out. I've never heard anything like that. I can't imagine that happening every single time. And I wonder if, like, is it a lot? Is a little bit? Because if it's a lot, I would not want to do it ever. Like, that's just like a whole hassle. Like, 2 things you gotta clean up now. It's just and Darren's got jokes. Darren has jokes.
Pardon me, my nose is bleeding all over you.
Shout the season, man.
And then it's Chris versus Michael, and Chris wins. Michael's secret was something that he already said earlier in episode 2. I think that he took his kids out on a date one time because he didn't have a babysitter. And to be honest, they're not really giving Michael any like hair time a little bit. I'm not entirely sure if it's because he just hasn't had a connection, but I haven't seen him like at all. And now we have Anthony versus Joey, and I think Anthony is so attractive. I don't know what it is taking over me, but anytime I see Anthony more and more in this episode, I'm like, if you don't find a connection by the end of this season, just, you know. Anyway, I like pizza. Anthony wins, and Joey's secret is that he has slept with 35 women, which for his age seems to be a lot, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's not any more than Stacy's. And now there's actually winners to this game. Basically, whatever woman and man was able to pull their opponent out the quickest, they're able to take them out on a date. And Christina and Anthony win. Anthony decides to take Lynette out. He was filling Kelly, but after the blowout with Jamie last night, he's starting to see another light to her, and he's not entirely sure if he's feeling it. And he also just wants to spend time with Lynette. After that night at the bar, I think he is feeling her more than anybody else. And let me tell you, this right here threw me off guard a little bit. I did not expect this. But Christina decides to take Sam out on a date. And it wasn't because she was curious about him or anything. She can say it was, but at the same time, she even said,
I have a connection with Joey, but if Joey wants to go on other dates, I'm gonna go on other dates.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
which I think is totally unfair, because it's not like Joey decided to take Kelly on a date. Kelly decided to take Joey and Anthony on the date, and as the show goes, I'm pretty sure you just do like what the thing is, you know? It wasn't like he decided to take Kelly on a date. He was chosen, he went because that's just the thing, and Christina got so butthurt over it, and now she's just being petty about it and deciding to take Sam out. I don't know. I can already tell you, if they get together, Joey and Christina, it's not going to be pretty, because she obviously has some jealousy issues. And it also seems like he has a little bit of jealousy issues too, because the minute she picks Sam, he's like, oh, well, I guess we're not a thing anymore. And
I don't like when my girl entertains other people, so I'm convinced that we're no longer a thing.
And it's like, aren't you guys here to date around and find a connection? But yeah, nobody in this situation is happy. Kelly is salty that Anthony decided to choose Lynette, and Joey's salty that Christina decided to choose Sam. Now we're gonna start with Christina and Sam's date. To be honest, I didn't really feel any connection here. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like Christina just picked Sam because she was being petty about Joey going out with Kelly. If Joey never went out on that date with Kelly, Christina obviously would have taken Joey. So I don't think this date was very genuine. But Sam, on the other hand, was kind of taking it more personally. He was even saying in his talking head that maybe Christina noticed that he would be a better match for her because he's more mature and he's here for something more serious. Where Joey, on the other hand, is just here to be around hot MILFs.
She realizes I'm more of a long-term type of guy, whereas Joey, you could tell he's here kind of just for, hey, there's hot MILFs everywhere.
But at the end of their date, Christina does ask him, has anybody said you're a good kisser? And he asks if she wants to find out. Of course, they start kissing, and it wasn't a bad kiss at all. But for the love of everything, I wish they would really turn down the mics during these moments, because it's just like so gross to hear them. It's just like, please turn it all the way down. So now we move on to Anthony and Lynette's date. They are also having a date at home, and he's gonna teach her how to make pizza since he owns his own pizzeria. He's a chef. They both look stunning. Lynette's makeup, her dress, everything. She looks beautiful. And Anthony in his suit, oh my God. They are both beautiful. They would be such a beautiful couple. And while they're in the middle of making their pizza and chefing it up in the kitchen, Joey and Kelly run across, and they're going straight outside into the hot tub. But back to Lynette and Anthony. They finish off their pizza, they're eating, they're having their drinks. They decide to go outside and just have a romantic time and have conversation. And they seem to really bond. I think they're really into each other. And so Anthony is asking her what kind of men is she into, and she says she's into the fixer-uppers. She likes to come in with people with issues, down on their downs or whatever, and she likes to fix them, pick them up. She says she's a people pleaser. And then Anthony goes into, he connects with touch and feel how it brings warmth, and he's just speaking those romantic words. Honestly, he was kind of just yapping there for a minute, but then he just grabs her and he just kisses her. But thankfully, she was into it. I'm not entirely sure if that's the best thing to do, to just grab somebody's head, but you know, she was into it. It obviously worked out in both of their favors, because he suggests them sleeping together, not in a sleeping together kind of way, but just to see how it would feel laying next to each other for a night. So they decide to occupy that Realfie room. Now Kelly and Joey go out to the hot tub and have their drinks, and they're talking, and it's exactly like the scene with him and Christina. And it was so funny because he tells her that one of the things that he noticed about her in the beginning was eye contact, and he just really likes eye contact. And every single time I see him, he is like crazy eye looking at somebody. So now Joey says in his talking head that since Christina decided to go out on a date with somebody else, he's going to explore every crook and corner that this experience has to offer him. He's going to date as much as he can and get to experience as much as he can. So him being exclusive to Christina is just not going to be a thing anymore. Now Joey decides to pull out that game that he got from his father, which he did not get any, because I don't understand how he keeps asking these kinds of questions. But he asks Kelly, if you were to use the Realfie room with me tonight, would you talk to my dad the next day? Which is and obviously Kelly says no. So that makes Joey very happy. So it's on to the third makeout session in literally 5 minutes. I don't know, please turn the mics down. But then Kelly goes on to say in her talking head, which I am just disgusted at this point.
Conflicted kissing Joey, and it is so weird because my son's name is Joey, and they kind of look alike.
She also says that Joey kind of looks like her son. Why? Then why are you doing it? Oh. I'm second guessing if I should be watching this show, because that right there churned my stomach. Don't you take her off the show. After that sentence, take her off the show. Let's just move on. Let's just move on from this. Now, Chris and Barbie spend some time with each other outside, and Chris says that Barbie is the only one that he's going for. So Chris decides to ask Barbie who she's into, and Barbie kind of upset me a little bit when she said this. She said that her and Jacob just had a little flirtatious thing.
Well, it's obvious that have a little flirtatious thing with Jacob, right? Obviously, I'm interested in talking to you.
Kind of making it seem very downplayed when even on her date she said she was connecting with him, and she definitely has more of a little flirtatious thing with him, because it seems like she only does this with him. She continues to just show signs that she's into him. She hasn't done anything with Chris unless they haven't shown us those parts, but I don't know. That kind of just irked me a little bit. It kind of seems like she's just downplaying the whole thing. But anyway, I digress. Chris then tells Barbie that she's a beautiful, strong woman, and then he's really into her and he wants to pursue her more, and she tells him that she feels the same way. And it's kind of sad because Jacob walks in on a little bit of it and he sees it and he does not take it very well. He goes on to say that anytime he's dated a girl, that she's been the only one that he's dated. He's not used to having to date a whole bunch of women and seeing and experiencing all these women at once. So he's kind of torn up about it. He then goes in his room and speaks to his dad about it. He lets his dad know that he's just feeling anxious about this whole experience now. And he says his general feelings are that he's just not happy here. And his gut reaction is telling him to leave and that he's just ready to go. Of course, his dad sympathizes with him. And it's kind of sad to see. But then again, you did come to a show called Milf Manor to date hot moms. I mean, but anyway, that was the end of the episode. Not too much happened this week. The only thing that was memorable was Kelly saying that Joey kind of looked like her son, but she was still willing to make out with him. But obviously they give us some sneak peeks for next week. And of course, like any good anime out there, we gotta have a beach day episode. So they hit the beach. It doesn't seem like there's gonna be any challenges or anything like that. But it does seem like Chris is set out to make Barbie forget about Jacob and steal her. Which they didn't show if Jacob or even Ashley was still in the house. So I don't know if he ultimately left. They just cut it off at him saying he wants to go. So we're not entirely sure if he decides to stay or not. But they do show, yet again, some more people coming into the house. How big is this damn house for them to keep adding more people? I'm tired of remembering names, okay? Please stop adding people. This is the last set of people you can add to this damn show because, like, there are so many names to remember. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But thank you guys again for coming and watching as always. If you hit that like and subscribe, I will personally promise to keep Joey away from you from biting your butt. I will be your right-hand man, your sword, your shield. Joey will not bite your butt. You just hit that like and subscribe and no butt bites for the rest of your life. That's a pretty good deal. That's all I'm saying. But you guys have a beautiful day. Bye.